similar because they were based on very similar experiences. I woke up after doing a ritual to the Holy Guardian Angel. I woke up with this vivid memory of this guy with a long white beard, long white beard, like Mr. Natural. It was an old white man, looking rather like Jehovah in the illustrated Bible, writing on a blackboard things about time that I was supposed to memorize. Sirius is very important to you. And I went to the town library and looked up Sirius and all the astronomy books. And I found out July 23rd is the day when Sirius seems to rise behind the sun as seen from Egypt, in the beginning of what they call the dog days. Why did I have that dream on the day connected with Sirius? What had I invoked? It influenced my way of experiencing the world.
Completely.
And there were flashes of psychic ability which to a degree I never had before or since. Well, let's say I believed it passionately for a couple of months. Then I began to have doubts, and then suddenly I had this flash of insight about 2.5 years later. My God, this is the same sort of thing that's recalled by different names in different traditions. Because it's been going on all over the world for centuries. And every shaman has an ally, and I was an apprentice shaman. I had to find an ally, and I found one. Boy, did I find one.
Chapel Perilous is a stage in the magical quest in which your maps turn out to be totally inadequate for the territory, and you're completely lost. And at that point, you get an ally who helps you find your way back to something you can understand. And then after that, you've got for the rest of your life, you got this question, was that ally a supernatural helper, or was it just part of my own mind trying to save me from going totally bonkers with this stuff? And the people I know who've had that kind of experience, very few of them have ever come to an absolutely certain conclusion about that. The puka plays the same role as the Holy Guardian Angel in Kabbalistic magic, or the extraterrestrial in the Whitley Strieber type experience, or the ghosts of dead relatives speaking through a seance in 19th century spiritualism, or Ramtha speaking through Jay-Z night. These are all different metaphors for basically the same experience.
I spent a year and a half at least half believing that I was in telepathic communication with a higher intelligence from the Sirius double star system. As a matter of fact, I still believe that every Thursday for 2 hours in the afternoon. No, not really. I'm completely cured of that one. I'm still an optimist, though. In the age of George Bush, that's roughly equivalent to thinking you're talking to intelligent dogs. Of course, there was no confusion in 1973 about giant rabbits and extraterrestrials. That was only temporary. You might say it hasn't ended yet. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I like the giant rabbit from County Kerry because there's no chance anybody will take that literally. Anything else I say they might take literally.
How about yourself?
That's another reason I like the giant rabbit from County Kerry. I'm not going to take him literally. Well, not too literally. Sorry about that, Ari. My cosmic schmuck principle holds that if you occasionally notice that you've been thinking or acting like a cosmic schmuck, you will become less of a cosmic schmuck. And the more often you notice that you're thinking and acting like a cosmic schmuck, the less of a cosmic schmuck you become. On the other hand, if you never suspect you might be thinking or acting like a cosmic schmuck, you will remain a cosmic schmuck for the rest of your life.
E prime is English without the use of any form of is or being.
We're trapped in linguistic constructs. All that is metaphor. I believe somebody said that before me. I've decided we can't get beyond words. What we got to do is get more cynical about our words. You'll find that by dispensing with is and trying to reformulate without is, you just naturally fall into the kind of expression which is considered acceptable. You just naturally fall into the kind of expression which is considered acceptable in modern science. Also, it's the type of consciousness that Zen Buddhism tries to induce. Using E prime, you will understand modern science and Zen Buddhism both a lot better than you've ever understood them before. Martin Gardner has written a long essay proving that to think like this will destroy your mind. I think it adds tremendously to clarity. I am removing the is from my writing more and more. Removing it from your speech is even harder. Instead of thinking the grass is green, to think the grass appears green to me. And this saves me a lot of time, by the way. I don't get embroiled in arguments like Beethoven is better than Mozart or rock is better than soul. I define such things as meaningless. And so when people get into arguments like that, I just say, well, Beethoven seems better to me than Mozart most of the time. But I don't say Beethoven is better than Mozart.
I return to E prime in my thinking whenever I find myself getting angry at somebody or feeling depressed or hopeless or having negative emotional states in general. Once you put them in, once you take out all the ises out of all your negative statements, you find out they're all relative to how you feel at the moment. People would, by and large, act the hell a lot more sanely, and especially if they, when they got rid of is, they put maybe in more sentences. I think if everybody used maybe more often, the increase in general sanity would be absolutely, it would seem absolutely astonishing and completely flabbergasted everybody. What the hell is this? We suddenly got a planet full of sane people. When did that start to happen? I didn't even notice it. You just listen to the craziest people on the news and on television, or the craziest columnists in the newspapers. You know, they never say maybe. They're always quite sure, and they always know is. And they never say seems. They always say is. I'm continually astonished at all the people in the world who think they have the answer to everything. None of them ever suspect they might be cosmic schmucks and have the wrong answer. And I find the only explanation that makes sense to me is in Korzybski's Science and Sanity. These people don't know how to use language properly. They're using language in an overly dogmatic way, which sets their brain into overly dogmatic modes. So they think dogmatically, they perceive dogmatically, they even smell dogmatically, they hear dogmatically. They're locked in a trap of fixed neurosemantic circuits in their brains. Whereas knowing I'm a cosmic schmuck, I always think of at least 5 alternatives. People start arguing about words, they're mostly arguing about whether the words that they apply to the objects they have created out of the infinity of possible objects that could be put together. They've picked up a few of them, and they put words on them, and they quarrel about the words. And if these